Welcome to Life Recovery Today with Stephen Arterburn. In the next half hour, you'll obtain insights and tools to transform your life using the biblical principles found in the 12-step program. We believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience because we all have struggles in life. Struggles with addictions, food, depression, anxiety, and relationships, to name a few. You'll be encouraged to see how others have found a new way of life with hope for the future through life recovery. Your host is Steve Arterburn, founder of New Life Ministries and Women of Faith, author of over 100 books, and teaching pastor at Northview Church in Carmel, Indiana, one of the 20 largest churches in America. Steve is the co-editor of the Life Recovery Bible, the #1 selling recovery Bible. With over 3 million copies sold, this is the Bible given to inmates by Prison Fellowship and the Pew Bible for the Salvation Army. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, Steve Arterburn here, and thank you for joining me for Life Recovery Today. We're going to do an interview with a recovery pastor. He's the author of a book, Stop Hiding and Start Healing, which is a really good idea. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about the law, this very, very special law, and it comes right out of the 12 laws of life recovery. We love people having equipment. You know, there's the 12 gifts and the 12 laws, but this is the law of faith. And when we have faith in the right thing, we end up with hope. So this law says that the requirement of faith is going to result in hope, if it's true faith. A lot of people have faith in a lot of different things, and they sure don't help one single bit. But when we have faith in God, and then we're willing for God to do what we can't do, boy, that's when things start to happen. Listen to this right out of Romans 5, 3-5. It says, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings." Now that's hard to imagine doing that until you've suffered in the right way. You've suffered going forward, and you get to see how, wow, glory really can come from suffering. Because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance develops character, and that character, well, that allows us to have faith in the real thing, and then we experience hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit, who has been given to us. Now, when you just get involved in some old regular recovery program, they're not going to talk to you about the God of the universe, whose son was Jesus, and they're not going to talk to you about the Holy Spirit. And that's why it's so great to be involved in like a Celebrate Recovery or a Life Recovery group, a Christ-centered recovery program. Now, in the Life Recovery Bible, my wife wrote a little piece about why it's important for us to go to those secular meetings, because if we don't go, they're not going to have anybody there that out in the parking lot. We can answer that question. So what's so different about your recovery journey? So faith leads to hope, and it also leads us to having a very special influence on other people. And I'll tell you, when you have Christ as part of your recovery, there's no plateau, there's no leveling out. You just grow, and you never get tired of growing. So, what's your faith in? I hope it's in the real thing that produces hope. We'll take a break. When we come right back, we're going to talk with Craig Brown. He's a recovery pastor, and I think you're going to enjoy hearing his story and how he's helping others right now.
Are you going through your struggles alone? Do you want someone to talk to help you through your pain? Do you feel like a failure when you relapse again, telling yourself, next time will be different? Don't walk this path alone anymore. Join a life recovery group today and be a person that your friends and family can be proud of. God created us to be in community, and we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country, and if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. Life Recovery brings recovery to you, right where you are. You'll take a journey with others to find healing and freedom. Whether you're looking to join a group or start one, New Life Ministries is here for you. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or visit liferecoverytoday.net.
Welcome back to Life Recovery Today. Steve Arterburn here. My special guest today is Craig Brown. Now, Craig is one of these special people. I love these folks. He's a recovery pastor at Church of the Redeemer in Gaithersburg, Maryland. So his whole ministry is all about getting people in recovery and helping them stay on the right track. He's the director of Celebrate Recovery there. He's an author, speaker, helps people deal with all these great, tough life issues of leadership also. And he's written a book, and that book is entitled Stop Hiding and Start Healing, which I think is a really good idea. Craig, welcome to Life Recovery Today. How are you doing today?
Steve, I'm well. Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be with you.
You know, we're always interested in folks that have struggled. We're always interested to know, what was that like back there when things got really tough? Can you share a little bit about your life when it was not so great? In fact, it was pretty crummy.
I sure can. Real short version. I grew up in the church. My father was a minister. I was the traditional pastor's kid. We had to be on all the time. You know, there was a lot of pressure being put on us, myself and my sisters. And my dad did real well in his role as a minister, but behind closed doors, it was a whole different story. He had his demons he was dealing with, and he essentially took it out on us. I had very little relationship with him at all throughout my youth and my young adult life. And as a result, you know, I was missing a lot of things. I mean, I didn't have a relationship with the Lord. You know, I was in a mainline denomination, didn't know anything about, you know, being born again, saved, or the love, grace, mercy, and grace and mercy of God. I didn't know anything about that. So I was searching. I had a major void in my life. The party welcomes everybody. I ended up working as a young adult, working for a gentleman who owned a business. I worked at his business, and he happened to be the biggest cocaine dealer on the East Coast.
Whoa.
And I got sucked up into the drug world because I had no self-discipline, no self-control, and I was just searching, you know, for to belong, to be accepted, to you know, have you know, that was my identity. I was just looking, and I just joined the party, and the party lasted for many years, and I ended up in the pit of hell during this time. And I don't have time. I do share my story in the book, though.
Yeah.
But
how'd you get out of that? What was the breaking point where you found a different way?
Well, in 1985, unbeknownst to me, the Lord, and this is what people don't understand, is that the Lord's hand is on us, and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
We have no clue. And it was in 1985, and his hand was on me, and I know he had me prepared for even this. I didn't know that at the time, but I realized that I was either going to end up dead, or I better do something. I better make a change, and I did. I got out of that lifestyle, but I was still miserable. I was absolutely miserable. And I had so much pain in my life as a result of the trauma because I hadn't dealt with it. And it was 1985 that I got clean, I got sober, but my life, I was still searching. There was something missing. And believe it or not, the one man that was missing in my life was my dad, and he was dying in the hospital. And the Lord brought me to his bedside, and I stood there as his son, and I saw him dying. And it impacted me so that the pain level, that was the breaking point. Whereas I just couldn't take it anymore. Yeah. I couldn't take it anymore. And it's interesting how he brought me to the bedside of the one man that all I wanted was his love and nurturing and encouragement and support, and to hear him say, you know, that he was proud of me. And I was going to lose him. And that very next day, I didn't have anybody guide me. I didn't have anybody leading me. But quick rewind real quick. My mother had given me a daily word subscription, and I had been consuming that. And that's all I had. Didn't have a Bible. Didn't have any church. But the very next day, after that hospital experience, I got on my face and I cried for over an hour, and I just said, Lord, come in, God, if you're there, if you are who I've been reading about in this little daily word, if that's you, then you have to come in and set me free, because I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And he did. And my life has not been the same since. When I got up after that hour, I was a completely different person.
Wow. Isn't that incredible? Well, one of the things that we talk about here is that when a person has a conversion experience or a rededication, or like what you're just saying, a miraculous change, you know, that's just the beginning. We've got to do some work if we're going to grow in our character. So what helped you in those first days after you got up from that life-changing hour?
Well, it was about that time Debbie and I ended up at Church of the Redeemer. I was a brand new believer, 28 years ago, and it's just, and we ended up in where the gospel was being preached, where I was loved unconditionally, where I found for the first time in my life a man that I could share my deep, dark secrets with, where I could trust a man who ended up being my spiritual mentor, my pastor, where I could open up. Because I had hidden and kept hiding all this from everyone, including myself, God, and other people. And I opened up, and that was an epiphany for me. That was just an amazing experience for me to be able to do that.
What a wonderful thing that you'd had your father was not safe. He was not a good representative of what the Lord intended the church to be, but you end up with a man who was safe enough for you to share everything. I think that's pretty special.
And then, that day when I gave my life, that was my first step in recovery. That was because you and I both know that Jesus is the only one that can heal, restore, fix, and change us. And he began to do that in my life. And as a result, he instructed me to give back everything that he has given me over the last 35 years and care for others who have been where I've been in the pit of hell. And my goal, my mission is to help people avoid that the best I can. Now, and those that are there, we give them a path and show them a direction of getting out.
How did you end up getting involved in a recovery ministry?
Well, that was just my pastor, he knew my testimony, got to know me. And, it was at that time he asked if I would lead a ministry called Celebrate Recovery. It was like 6 years into its existence. Matter of fact, I saw you speak at that summit back in 2001. And I just gave back. That was my heart. That was my mission. That was my purpose. And that was the stream I wanted to flow in, because I know it well. I mean, I know what it's like to be the pit of hell. Absolutely. I know darkness. I know emptiness. And I definitely know pain, which prompted me to write the book, because in my experience, in my role, I just see too many people, especially in churches, hiding rather than healing.
All right, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this concept of no longer hiding. You quit hiding. You finally shared with somebody and beginning that healing process. And we know that, first we need to see the problem, then we need to say it out loud, and then we can own it. And that's really the grace. That's where the grace comes in, when we're open and honest about it. We'll be back after this.
It's hard to find a trusted friend when you're in crisis. Someone who's been there and understands, but who also has the training and skill to give you practical help. Family, friends, and churches want to help, but often they're not equipped to care for those dealing with problems like addiction and pornography, infidelity, anger, depression. New Life Ministries is here to provide help and hope in life's hardest places. We're not focused on making people feel better. We're focused on helping people do the work that will help them be better. At New Life, we have resources available to help you, like books, DVDs, CDs, workshops, and our network of licensed counselors. If you need help, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and begin your new life today.
Welcome back to Life Recovery Today. Steve Arterburn here. And before we get back to Craig, I want to show you something. You know, we mention resources all the time. And as many of you know, the Life Recovery Bible has sold over 3 million copies. It is the Bible that folks at Prison Fellowship give to any prisoner that asks for it. They gave away about 90,000 of those Bibles last year. Isn't that spectacular? And also, I want to be sure that you know of some other resources. One is Every Man's Bible. If you're a man, well, we're working on the Every Woman's Bible, but we just have this one. And this can really intensify your Bible study. It's the #1 best-selling men's study Bible. Then I want to just, you can get that at 1-800-NEW LIFE. But here's the deal. This is the Restoration Bible. And the Restoration Bible, here's what you would have to pay for a Bible like this. Nothing. If you text me to stevesocial@newlife.com, I will send you this Bible, indexed, leather-like cover, and it's a study Bible based on the acronym RESTORE. I think you'll really benefit from it. It'll help you. Be sure you've got a Life Recovery Bible, but this one, in addition to that, all you have to do to get a free Bible, stevesocial@newlife.com. Well, we've been talking to Craig, and Craig, you wrote this book for people to just do what all of us stop doing, what we all do, hiding, and begin the healing. So what does the book tell us that maybe would motivate somebody to stop hiding?
Well, as I mentioned, just in my own experience and the experience of serving and caring for others, I use the following, and that is, when the pain is greater than your fear, you will begin to change.
When the pain is greater than the fear.
Than your fear.
Yeah.
What I have learned just in my own experience and observing many, many others over the last 22 years, it's shame. Churches are filled with people that are dealing with and in bondage to shame, because Jesus is the only one that can reach our soul, right? And the enemy knows that, and the enemy knows that well. And so if he can pile on the shame on that good Christian believer who's dealing with pornography and serving in church, and or dealing with drugs, alcohol, or whatever that may be, or having affairs and continuing in that horrible life cycle, they will continue to come to church. They'll worship, they'll participate, they'll lead, they'll do what they want to do, what they normally do, but they won't say a thing to anybody because the shame is absolutely wreaking havoc in their life.
Yeah.
So they continue to hide. I did, and I see hundreds of others over the years that have as well. Some have stepped out, some haven't. But when the pain is greater than your fear of changing, when the pain is greater than embarrassment, when the pain surpasses your fear, and therefore you're no longer ashamed to step up, speak up, and say something, then that's a step that you have to take, and you have to be able to do that in order to heal.
Yeah,
right?
It's so hard for us to convince somebody that once you get in the car, put your hands, I call it the laying on of hands, the healing laying on of hands. That's laying on your hands on the steering wheel, driving to that recovery meeting. It's hard for us to convince you that once you walk in, you're going to feel accepted and loved. There's not going to be shame put on you, rejection. We can't convince you of that. You have to actually take a risk and step foot in that meeting, and then you'll experience what we promise you can really be the beginning of a whole new life. And when someone has been where Craig has been, they're committed to making that the best experience ever. So in your recovery ministry and writing this book, Stop Hiding and Start Healing, what do you think is one of the most important concepts in recovery for that healing to begin to take place?
As far as see, this is the thing. Recovery has such a stigma that the enemy uses as well, because people think it's not for them. if you have a pulse, you're in recovery, right?
Yeah.
You're recovering from something. It's just that, the cycle will continue in your life, as I mentioned, until the pain, the shame, the guilt, you have to deal with it, right? And the other part of this is I share is that you can create a new past in your life. You can create a brand new one.
Hmm.
Now, in recovery, we deal with the old one. You have to deal with the old one first.
Right.
But if you said Jesus, come in, and we've already learned that we're a new creation. So it's on that day that you get to create a brand new past, moving forward with Him in your recovery, in your healing, in your restoration, and then you can create a brand new one starting on that day. Some people wait 5, 10, 15 years after that day, but you have an opportunity to create something new. Isaiah says in chapter 43, there's something new. I'm doing something new in you. And you have to step out and you have to take action and take that first step and allow that pain and desperation to be a catalyst for you to be set free. And people just have to get over the fact that, oh, well, it's just for those people. No, it isn't. No.
Well, that's
Churches are
that's what we say
filled
here
with people.
is really these are 12 steps for anyone.
Everybody.
They're for everyone.
Yes.
All of us
Yes.
need a growth program, and this is
Yes.
a really, really good one. One of the things that I've come to believe is that inside of every person, Satan uses a person to inflict shame. And
Absolutely.
the person he uses is yourself. Satan
Yes.
encourages you to beat yourself up. So inside of you,
Yes.
You're being beaten up, and you're letting
Yes.
Satan use yourself to beat yourself up.
Exactly.
And you come in,
Yeah.
and Christ and recovery can set you free. Talk about
Well,
that a
the
little
shame and the shame and the condemnation, that combination is just horrific and just wreaks havoc on really good people. You're absolutely right. And until we allow the Lord to change our mind, which in turn changes our behavior, which in turn changes our circumstances, until we do that and get rid of the negative self-talk and the self-loathing and all that, just because you're pointing and clicking to every pornography site you can think of,
Yeah.
you can be set free from that. You can be.
So if a person is stuck, they haven't started recovery, or they're stuck in their recovery, we got about 1 minute. What do you say to that person to encourage them to get unstuck?
Go back to step one.
Okay.
Always go back. Always go back to step one. Steve, I've been doing this for over 22 years, and it's been a regular practice of my life when I get to a place. And it's just like, go back to step one. Realize I'm not God. Am I trying to control this? Am I trying to manage this situation? And then a daily inventory. What am I doing wrong? Why am I angry, frustrated, disappointed? What is going on with me? The best thing we can ever do, Steve, and you know this better than anybody, is that recovery develops self-awareness. The most important person in the world is you. And you should be learning about you and what God's mission and purpose is for you. And self-awareness has everything to do with helping you move from a place of brokenness to a place of wholeness.
Well, I really appreciate what you're saying, because I think many times the only thing that people are aware of is their own shame, suffering, pain, circumstances. They're blaming other people for it, and then
Yes.
Here you have a ministry that if people will just engage with it, you're going to find this thing called freedom, and that's what we want you to have.
Absolutely.
I would encourage anybody to get a copy of Stop Hiding and Start Healing. Craig, how could they get that?
On the website, stophiding.starthealingbook.com.
Okay.
Stophiding.starthealingbook.com.
And if you're ever in Gaithersburg, Maryland, be sure and stop by the Church of the Redeemer and attend one great recovery meeting, and tell them hi for us when you go there. We're going to take another break. When we come right back, I've got a little bit of hope, more hope for you, and peace.
Life recovery isn't just about making the courageous choice to give up an addiction or dependency. It's a journey towards health, wholeness, and becoming your very best you. If you need resources to help you in your journey, we can help. There are many life recovery resources that you can do on your own, with a group, or with your church. We have Bibles, workbooks, and devotionals that you can use to work your recovery right where you are. That's the beauty of life recovery. To learn more or to get the Life Recovery Bible or any other life recovery resource, visit liferecoverytoday.net or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Welcome back to Life Recovery Today. I really hope that you'll give that book a look. Maybe grab a copy. Stop Hiding and Start Healing. One of the great benefits of healing is that we get to experience something that we're never going to experience if we don't heal, and that is peace. When we're at peace, all of our regrets are resolved because we've been putting them in the hands of the Lord, the things that we can't redo, can't change. All of the things that are gone have been grieved. We don't have any ungrieved losses. And all of those conflicts we are continuing to get in, well, those conflicts inside of us that kind of trigger us into others, they've been calmed. That is one of the greatest benefits. It's a gift of recovery, and you can experience that. But just like Craig said, it all starts with this first step of admitting that I have an extreme limitation, that in and of myself, I am not going to be able to fix me. It's such a great thing when we can admit that perhaps the problem is our solution. We've been choosing the wrong solution all along, and maybe it's time, well, it is time, to find another option, another solution. That's what I want for you. We want to see every person's life recovered, restored, and repurposed. And then you'll get to see what God intended for you all along. Hope you'll join me next time right here for more Life Recovery Today. You have a great week.
Thanks for joining us for Life Recovery Today with Stephen Arterburn. We hope this program has helped you integrate God's truth and wisdom into your recovery journey. This program is brought to you by New Life Ministries, and it's your support that keeps this program on the air. When you contact us for any reason, be sure to let us know that you watch on NRB. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to liferecoverytoday.net. Please join us again next week for more Life Recovery Today.